So the Renee Good shooting has triggered an awakening in white women that I'm pretty sure that white men were not expecting. They are divorcing their husbands in Minnesota, and it is going viral on TikTok. Not only are they divorcing their husbands in Minnesota, they're divorcing their husbands across the United States. It triggered empathy in them, but not empathy for others, I don't think, because they only got to this point when a woman that looked like them got taken out. When other women were getting taken out and getting kidnapped, they were all for it. Where children were getting kidnapped, families are getting taken and separated, doors are getting kicked in, houses are getting shot up. Like, it doesn't even matter what's going on around them. Like, all of these things have happened currently and in the past for hundreds of years to black people, to people that don't look like them. But now they are laying down consequences to their men. This is something black women have never done, would have never thought to do, because we are in a system that we know has never protected us in the first place. We know no group of men has ever protected black women. So I guess black women just said, well, fuck it. We'll just stay with them anyway, with no benefits. But anyway, these women are actually out here divorcing and people are talking about it. I will be back throughout the video, but let's get into the video now.
This isn't my video, but you can go watch the original one for context. And I think this is important for white men to hear, because you're not going to listen to your wife or your girlfriend. Complacency in this timeline of unrestrained violence by ICE, by the Trump administration, makes you also complicit in the violence. When you can see ICE agents going door to door, kidnapping families, and you just do one of these, that makes you a fucking piece of shit. You expect your wives or your partners to believe that you will keep them or your children or your family safe? No. Additionally, some of you are going to get left as white men by your white women partners because they've been watching you crack jokes or take the side of the white man that murdered someone that looks just like your fucking partner. And when you go to tell all your friends, your buddies, your family members that your partner or your wife left you over politics, no, they left you because you're fucking violent, even if you never pulled the trigger or put your hands on them.
I'm on the side of TikTok where white women are saying that they're starting to doubt their partners. And my question is, where were you when your partner voted for Trump 3 times? Where were you when they were making excuses for George Floyd's killers? Where were you when they were getting autographs for Zimmerman when he killed Trayvon Martin? Why is this so important to you?
I knew when I made a video about white women leaving their husbands over current events and like why it took you so long, I knew that people would be coming to make excuses. What I didn't expect was the excuses to be like so poor and the same ones over and over again. Actually, that's a lie. I did expect it, but let's talk about it. My favorite, they got married young. Okay, well, I married my husband at 24. I met him when I was 21. Young, you could say. I vetted that motherfucker because in 2012, 2013, I already knew I wasn't racist. It wasn't just like a twinkle in my eye that I might think about becoming not racist 10 years from now. So the I was young excuse still doesn't fly with me because it's about who you are. They were raised by MAGA parents. Same, baby girl. Sure, I have one parent who is now not MAGA, but when I was a kid, my parents were both voting Republican, and my dad was the one spewing racist shit all the time, and my mom never said anything. In fact, let's tell a little story. Every year my family made gingerbread houses, which if you followed me around Christmas, you saw that I did it this year too. But one year my dad took all of the broken pieces of the gingerbread houses, and this was like in 2003 or 4, I'm gonna say, and he made a scene that looked as if somebody had boomed a village, and he wrote in icing that it was Baghdad. So if I was able to recover, unlearn, become anti-racist after that being my upbringing, you can do it too.
White women are leaving their white husbands, and it's all over my FYP. And I want to share my perspective as a white woman, but also as a social worker, about why I'm not surprised, but also about why this is very pivotal. White women around the country just watched the tragedy of what happened to Renee Good. White women are watching the news. They are on TikTok. They are seeing a lot of the chaos breaking out around the country, and they are concerned. They are anxious. They are waking up. And so women are going to their husbands and they're asking them, what's our plan if this comes to our city? What's our plan if things continue to escalate in the country? Did you see what happened? What would I do if that was me? And a lot of white husbands, not surprisingly, are responding with statements like, I don't know what you're worried about. Things are just getting blown up in the media. Turn off the news and relax. What do you mean have a plan? Just comply if you get pulled over. It's not that hard. So essentially, husbands are gaslighting their wives, and the wives are sitting there like, oh, I just came to the protector of the family, right? The protector of the family. And he's telling me I'm overreacting or not to worry. So if you're a white woman and this is you and your husband, or you're a white woman and you are seeing this happen in real time with other women and you're questioning why or what is this about, let's talk about it. Quick disclaimer though, this post is not to make excuses for white women, and it is not to compare their situation to other people's situations or minimize the harm that white privilege has caused in our society. For a long time, white women have been taught that, whether implicitly or explicitly, right, that protection comes from alignment with a white man. From fathers to husbands to grandfathers, protection has been labeled as something that is accessible to white women as long as they are compliant, as long as they were agreeable, as long as they were blindly trusting of male authority. Now, the patriarchy and white supremacy go hand in hand, right? All throughout history of this country, those two things always go hand in hand. And the patriarchy didn't just position white men in this country as leaders. It also positioned white women in this country as dependents. Dependents that defer to a man, right, for leadership. Dependents that do not question a man. Dependents who hold the belief system that a man knows best, especially in moments of chaos or danger, right? You are supposed to defer to the man in your family. He is the leader. He is the protector. He is the one who will know how to handle this situation the best. Men are our leaders because they are not overly emotional. Men are our leaders because they know how to protect with strength and brute force and all the things that you need in order to be a successful protector. White women are more accepted by their male counterparts when they are subservient, when they do not ask questions, when they follow him blindly, right? They are obedient, they are meek, they are fragile. And so these norms get passed on through generations, right? Women are meek and fragile, and they need men to protect them. Women need to suppress their emotions, their questions, their intuition, if they want male protection. And of course, add in white supremacy, right? White women have historically benefited from their proximity to a white man, right? They get additional privilege from that proximity. A white married woman, a white straight married woman, bonus points if you add in conservative religious, right? But a white married straight woman has access to more privilege than a white single woman or a white lesbian woman, etc. And so, like I said, this has gone on and on and on and on for generations, right? And there are white people who are evil and vile and who relish in their white supremacy, who relish in thinking that they have more power over others, who have learned to weaponize their proximity to power, who take advantage of the hierarchies that the white supremacy male patriarchy has established. Women who would, in real time, bring back things like slavery. But for the women who are not that, the women who have been conditioned to think that protection comes from a white man marrying a white man, right? You're guaranteed this protection. When women were going to their husbands and asking, so what do we do now? And the husbands are dismissing them and the husbands aren't reacting. Women were waking up because they're saying, wait a second. I do all of these things. I voted the way you told me to vote. I don't question the way that you want things done. Maybe I even let you control the house, the finances. I let you lead because you're the strong brute force man. And you're sitting here and saying there's nothing to be worried about when I just saw a woman get shot in the face. And I'm here to break it to you. This is because white men have not had to think about the state the country, law enforcement, people in power turning on them because the system was built by them and for them. Now, I'm a white woman, right? Obviously. And I acknowledge and I identify that I have benefited from this system, right? The same system in which, yeah, I am higher in the totem pole when I'm with a white man, yes, but I, even without a white man, have privilege. I have benefited from this system, whether I have wanted to or not. As a white woman, you have to ask yourself, is this proximity to privilege and this perceived protection that I have been conditioned to think that I'm going to get, is that more important morally, ethically, right? Empathically? Is that more important than being on the right side and doing what is right? And I think a lot of women are waking up and questioning, if my husband isn't protecting me, if he's gaslighting me, what do I have to gain from staying in this situation? And just to tie this up with a piece of accountability, right? It does not matter if white women have been conditioned by white men to have certain ideologies or certain beliefs or to utilize the white privilege system. It doesn't matter if we have been conditioned, because at the end of the day, it's not an excuse for the atrocities that have happened at the hands of white people in this country. And it doesn't absolve you of the ways in which you have benefited from the proximity to the creators of the white supremacy patriarchal system, right?
So we're starting to see an epidemic on social media where a lot of white women are leaving their white husbands. Most of the time, these women are white liberal women leaving their white husbands because their white husbands are conservatives and they're more socially, more liberal, more on the left. So you see a lot of this happening. You see this on social media. I believe a lot of these white women are leaving their white husbands is because simply they're not happy and they're using all the things that's going on right now as an excuse to leave their husband. A lot of these white women got it made, right? A lot of these white women are living a good life, but they don't feel like they're being seen or heard in their household. They want their husbands to feel oppressed, just like they feel oppressed, even though they live in a great situation, a great house and all of that. This is the reason why we have the passport bros movement, the men going out of their way movement, the red pill movement. Is because a lot of these white women put pressure on white men, and what they did was quit. They were tired of dealing with the nonsense. When you have a white woman or a woman that is at home doing nothing, they need to feel something.
So it's a new day, and you know what that means. Republicans have found yet another thing that they want to do away with, and that is no-fault divorce. In the past 3 weeks, 5 states have introduced laws to outlaw no-fault divorce. For those of you who don't know, until relatively recently, the only way for a woman to push for divorce from their husband was if the man was at fault in some way. In many situations, the woman had to prove that he cheated on her or had an affair to get a divorce, or that he was physically abusive. Men, on the other hand, have always been able to have no-fault divorce and leave their wives. So states gave everybody the right to a no-fault divorce. But now Republicans are saying they don't like that. And they're saying that the only reason that a woman should be able to leave their husband is once again proving that he is at fault in some way, citing either abuse or an affair. So, in conclusion, they want to go back to the days where women are forced to remain married to men that they don't want to be married to. I'm pretty sure there's a word for that.
Why now? Why should you divorce, leave, disown, or ghost the ICE agent in your life now, today, instead of maybe 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when the ICE agency was founded in 2003? Why today? Why is my video showing up on your For You page? I'll tell you why. It's very simple. Because you know, if you have a good soul, if you have a good heart, you know in your heart that there is a difference between giving a list of people with confirmed expired visas or confirmed lack of appropriate status. There's a difference between being given that list and being told find these people and what is happening and what has been happening this past year. There's a difference between being told go find this person who has been confirmed XYZ versus the kidnapping and the terrorism that the ICE agency
has been conducting this whole past year, and especially what's been going on right now in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, in that whole area. If you're a good person, you know, you feel the difference. And what's happening right now is not okay. ICE should have never existed, and right now is the culmination of why it should have never existed, because it was able to evolve and become what it is now. So, I say it again, divorce, leave, disown and otherwise ghost the ICE agent in your life, and those who support ICE, especially if they are aware of what's happening right now and what's been happening for this past year.
Everything that's happening around, a side effect of all this is the fact that there's going to be a lot of divorces because men defend men. And not necessarily just defend them, but they omit. They stay behind. They don't stand up for women. They don't stand up for others because it's not happening to them. And women, as empathetic people, more empathetic than men, I should say, not always, but most times, will feel the need to do something or to empathize or stand up for others as well too. And if their husband doesn't do the same thing, it's eye-opening at that point. So I think a huge side effect of everything that's happening, and you know what I'm talking about, will result in a lot of divorces, not just in where it's happening, but everywhere, nationwide, because it's going to open a lot of eyes of a lot of people to show how their partner is part of the problem, and it's unacceptable. So it's just interesting to see, because we already have a male loneliness epidemic, and this is just going to put a fire under it, because it's going to really open a lot of people's eyes to the fact that most men are misogynistic, or they're okay with misogyny because they're not against it actively, openly.
People, I get it. It's election time. Everyone's emotions is all over the place. Everyone is nervous. But do not let election time come between you and your family. Do not let election time ruin your marriage. This woman just divorced her husband after being married for 23 years because her husband decided to vote for Donald Trump. People, this couple is from Maryland, and they had a very beautiful marriage. They had 4 daughters together. Now, mind you, this couple had a lot in common. They never really disagreed about anything until Joe Biden dropped out the race. Also, keep in mind, since this couple was married, they always voted the same. They both voted for Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. But everything changed when Joe Biden dropped out the race. The husband did not like Kamala Harris. One day the family was having dinner and they brought up politics, and the husband told the wife he was thinking about voting for Donald Trump. When the husband said he was thinking about voting for Donald Trump, the wife made a joke and said, "You must don't want this marriage anymore." A week later, the husband sat his wife down and said he's voting for Donald Trump. He do not want to vote for Kamala Harris. He said if Biden was still in the race, he would vote for Joe Biden. He did not like Kamala Harris for some reason. The wife then told her husband he should not vote. He said voting for Donald Trump is voting against women's rights. The husband said that's not true. He loves his family, he loves his 4 daughters, and he support women's rights. He said Donald Trump is just the better option. The wife then started to insult Donald Trump, and then the husband started to insult Kamala Harris. Mind you, this was the first time in their marriage they had a serious fight like this, because they will always vote the same. The wife also accused the husband and said he's watching too much right-wing media. The husband also said the same thing about the wife. He said she's watching too much left-wing media. So one day the husband got home from work and the wife sat the husband down. She was very serious. She said if he vote for Donald Trump, he's voting against women's rights. The husband then told the wife, let's not let politics ruin our marriage, please. The wife then told the husband if he vote for Donald Trump, she will file for divorce, and she meant it. The husband then told her, you don't control me. You don't tell me who to vote for. I vote for whoever I want to. Roughly 2 weeks after that conversation, the wife filed for divorce and she moved out the house. She took the 4 girls. One day the husband came home from work and he got the shock of his life. The house was half empty and no one was there, and the wife wasn't picking up the phone, and it was a note on the kitchen table. The note on the kitchen table said, quote, "It took me 20 years to realize I married the wrong man. Voting for Donald Trump is voting against women's rights." She said, "I love you, but divorcing you is the right decision for me and my daughters. I understand emotions is very high, but do not let this election come between you and your family."
So because he hates black women so much, or women so much, he voted against his wife, he voted against his daughter's rights, he voted against their bodies. He didn't care if one of his daughters were to get pregnant and had complications and could not get the procedure she needed to help her, an abortion. That's what People are not just out here using abortion for birth control. When these babies have complications and aren't going to survive, these Trump supporters and these people that are against abortion do not know that sometimes these babies are dead already and the doctors cannot take them out of the woman's body, which will cause her to go septic, which means she will be compromised. Her body will be poisoned and toxic because it has a decaying body, a baby inside of it, and the laws are saying that these doctors cannot get rid of that baby to save her life either, because the baby is already gone. These men do not know that women are losing babies by miscarriages, and most or a lot of miscarriages are caused by the men's sperm. We are finding out that most miscarriages are caused by their old, raggedy, malfunctioning, malfunctioning sperm. And they are locking up women and investigating women who are now having miscarriages. Women who are already traumatized and lost their babies because their body was rejecting his sperm, rejecting his DNA, so their body was doing what it was supposed to do. And they're getting locked up for it because they think that women are now taking out their own kids because of the abortion ban. That is why women are divorcing men. It is not politics. Especially if you have 4 girls like this woman and you understand that those 4 girls could possibly get raped and get pregnant and have to go through all of this because you didn't want to listen, because you didn't care. So I'm proud of all the ladies that are out here divorcing their husbands, especially the ladies that are of childbearing age and who actually wanted to have families. So this administration they're making the opposite happen. They wanted families and they wanted women to have kids, but no, you're killing the women and you're killing the kids. ICE is taking the women out in their cars and you're kidnapping women's kids. And it's like, no, nobody's going to have kids for you if you're not even appreciating the kids that are here. You're just letting the kids that are here just be taken out. You don't want us to be able to afford insurance for the kids, daycare for the kids. You want women to be subjugated. And women are realizing this, and they're like, no, my husband doesn't want to realize what's going on, and I'm in danger, and I have to get out of this now.
Since I made that video talking about all of the divorces happening in Minnesota, I recognize that it's not just Minnesota, it is nationwide. This country is about to get rocked by a wave of divorces unlike anything we have ever seen. I have women in the comment section of that video saying as much. Hey, it's not just Minnesota. I'm getting ready to leave mine. And in my own personal life, since I made that video, about 48 hours, I've had 2 of my long-term homegirls, because yes, boys, it really does enrich your life to have truly platonic relationships with women, reach out to me and tell me they're getting ready to leave their husbands, who I've known for the last 20 years as well. One asking if I can keep the animals for a while she gets shit figured out. The other asking if she could stay here for a few days while she gets shit figured out, mostly because their husbands know me and know not to fucking try it, that I am completely comfortable copping fucking charges. But this has shattered kind of the final illusion of the patriarchy, which is why I say what works to our advantage is these motherfuckers never understanding cause and effect. They think they have it all figured out, but they can never foresee any of the consequences. And the patriarchy they're so desperate to uphold has always been an illusion, right? But millions upon millions of women in this country, liberal, conservative, and everything in between, really did buy into it, buy into what they were fed their entire life, that if they participate in this, right, if they are good wives, which the 2 I know are very good wives and very good mothers, and that's the real reason they're leaving, is because the men refuse to protect the children, right? If they were good partners, kept a good home, everything else, that there were certain benefits that came along with that, like hopefully a man who can provide, but more importantly, a man who can provide safety. And over the last few years, they've recognized that, okay, well, most of that was bullshit, right? Like none of that is true, but hopefully this providing protection bit, right, is accurate. Nope. And this proved that to them, That men, they'll sit on their couches, right, and say, don't worry, babe, if that ever happened to you, I'd protect you. They're good at talking that game, but they were completely full of shit and cowards the entire time. They're either just going to deny that it's happening or justify it and side with the people causing harm to their communities. But more importantly, it's the fact that these men won't protect their children. That's what women are really responding to, is 6-month-olds being gassed and needing to receive CPR because they were coming home from a basketball game. Okay, women are very, very good at perceiving threats. Like, I was mostly raised by women, and I always understood, even as a kid, men are gonna freak the fuck out most of the time. I need to pay attention to what women are doing, and if they get freaked out, that's when I need to get freaked out. And all of these women are accurately assessing the situation, that this has now become dangerous, not just for me, but my children. And this man has absolutely no ability or want to protect us. And that goes beyond just physical protection, men. That also means protecting peace and normalcy for your family and your children, and trying to provide them with as normal an experience as you possibly can. And they're just flat out denying anything is happening. And that was it. That was the last little illusion of the patriarchy to a lot of women, was at least maybe I could receive some type of protection. Nope, you're better off on your own, ladies. You really are. You have a better shot of just you and the kids, because you know when to move, you know when to get out of there, you know how to protect your children better than this chuckle fuck ever would. If it's up to a lot of these men, your children will be the ones being gassed in cars, while they're just saying, well, I guess I shouldn't have been here. Fucking cowards. So just leave now, lady. Leave. If they're not taking this shit seriously, get the fuck out. You are better off alone.
Today. I mean, it was only 1969 when a woman could divorce her husband. Now you're telling me for centuries, women had to put up with their men. But these boys today can't handle 56 fucking years of women standing up for themselves? I am not a feminist, but for fuck's sakes, 56 years of women fighting back, and you have all these victimized fucking men who can't handle women saying, no thank you, I got it.
But if you're a man and you don't feel that you can protect and provide and stay prepared, you're always going to have this feeling of hollowness and emptiness inside you, because as men, it is factory installed for us to want to protect and provide and stay prepared. But if we're not taught this by our parents, by our fathers, by our uncles, by our older brothers, by the men in the tribe, then you will feel this sense of emptiness inside.
A lot of them sound really good, but this is not true. You'll have women in the comments agreeing with this man, but you don't have to teach people to be protectors if they're natural protectors and providers. Women are not taught to provide for their children. They just do it because it's their children and it's natural to them. Women are not taught to protect their children and other people. When you see women in public helping women that are being harassed or harmed in some kind of way, women are not taught to come to the aid of people or children. Women just naturally do it. That's not anything that was taught to us. Even females in nature, they were not taught to protect their cubs or other females or fight together as a group. They just do it because it's an instinct. That is not a natural instinct for men in nature or in the human species. You will see men being cowards. You will see them being punked by other men, which is what we see now with the government going around harassing people's kids and families. We see it now. These are men who are at the top and who are hiring other men who think they're tough to harass the rest of the world. And we see other men online crying about it, talking about how bad it's getting. And you don't see many men in the streets combating it. I see a lot more women out in the streets combating it. We see all these men in America with tons of guns, tons and tons of guns, but like we're cowering in a corner like we don't have guns too. Like it's not more of us than them. I'm just like, make it make sense. All of these men who have been collecting these guns forever, some of them are not on the right side of history, but some of them are. I'm like, where are y'all at? It's already started. The war that y'all wanted is here, and you're waiting on the government, which is no longer on your side. Where are you at, protectors? These women are leaving their husbands because they thought they had protectors, and they didn't. Once they saw the reactions and the non-reactions from their husbands, they saw that they've been living a lie their entire lives. This is why men have been able to subjugate women and nations, because other men are scared of them and allowed it and didn't stand up. This is why I keep telling women, y'all need to get armed yourselves. You don't need to depend on your husband or the men in your family. If you can, that's great. If they're ready and they're getting prepared with you, that's great. But if you can't, you need to do what you can do now on your own to try to protect yourself and your kids.
I want a divorce. I don't want to live with MAGA people anymore. I don't think that this is a sustainable model for society. We are never, ever, ever going to see eye to eye about how society should operate, period. I do not know what the solution to this is. But what I do know is that Donald Trump is destroying the structures that glued this country together, honestly, faster, more violently, and better than I think anyone could have ever imagined. So I think the likelihood of the United States continuing as one country is rapidly diminishing right before our eyes. And maybe, in the end, this will do us a favor. Maybe it'll even do the world a favor. Because I think the reality is, we can't live together. We just can't. And frankly, I honestly have no interest in trying to change anyone's mind. If you want to live that way, go for it. If you want to live in a completely reversed reality where no one knows how to read and no one takes any medicine and you all just kill each other over and over again with unmedicated pandemics, that's fine. I don't care what you do at all. I just don't want to be around it anymore. Genuinely.
This is what all the men out there gaslighting their wives about the state of affairs in the United States right now need to understand. Just because you're not worried, you don't think it'll impact you and your family, and you just think you guys need to keep your head down, shut up, and, keep it pushing. If she stops talking to you about her concerns, it's not because you've succeeded in convincing her otherwise. It just means that she stopped including you in her future plans. As a woman, she is planning on how to keep herself and her children safe, okay? She won't burn, the kids won't burn, but you, my dear, are going down with the shipmate. And when the ship goes down, you will be all alone. And no matter what happens from now on, she already has the ick, okay? She now sees you as a bitch baby, dead weight. A weak, submissive man who cowers at any showing of male authority. You're a bitch baby, okay? That's the technical terminology. You have bitch babyitis. All of this bluster about, we're here to protect, we're the leaders. No, you aren't now, you never were. Your previous circumstances just allowed you to pretend. And now she sees it, and now she's leaving you. And you'll say it came out of left field, but deep down you'll know.
Have come across a side of the internet, and it's just basically a bunch of men and women talking about how they have literally had to leave their spouses because their spouses have fallen into the MAGA fucking mental illness that is like plaguing the world. Apparently it's not even just fucking us in the United States. Apparently it's plaguing the fucking world. Apparently there's people all over the fucking globe that's like thinks that what we're having over here is a good old grand time. And I wound up on that side because of that woman that Tizzy ENT found in Texas that was like, and you know what, you're illegal. And you know what, because you're illegal, to that lady that was door dashing. And I fell down another rabbit hole of like children and grandchildren that don't talk to their parents and grandparents no more. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I don't talk to a lot of my family anymore, because they too have fallen victims to the MAGA illness, the mental illness that will be studied at some point. But oh my God, could you imagine having to leave your significant other, especially if you've been together for like a lengthy amount of time? But at the same time, my question is, if you've been married for 25 years, you never knew that your spouse was racist until now? Or maybe they just weren't as loud about it and you like didn't care as long as they weren't loud about it. I don't know.
I want to get one thing straight. The women who are leaving their husbands because of the Renee Good incident, they are not leaving their husbands because of racism. The racism didn't bother them. They stayed through all of the hate and the racism of other people. They didn't care about that. They are leaving their husbands because Renee Good was a white woman and their husbands still didn't care, still didn't have a reaction. That she was a white woman like them. So they are giving their husbands consequences for claiming to be protectors and providers and not even caring or wanting to come up with a plan now that they see that their skin is not giving them the protection that they once thought it did. That's the issue with Renee Good.
So 2026 is going to be the year of divorce. And not just the legal kind. It's going to be a year of soul divorces, timeline divorces, system divorces. All the maybe we can fix this, we'll divorce. We've had a good run, we'll divorce. The people that are dealing with partners that think that the bare minimum is princess treatment, divorce. Systems, societies that think that giving us little drops, little cookies here and there are doing us a favor, keeping us enslaved, will be divorced. And this isn't happening because people are giving up. It's happening because the frequency isn't going to lie anymore. You can't fake frequency, especially once you're awake. You can't force things to feel aligned. And you can't bypass that scream inside of your body, your cells, your mind that says, this isn't my circus anymore. We are entering a harmonic window where mismatch truly will equal collapse. And it's not as a punishment, it's as a preservation. Because what you're going to be clinging to will drown with it. The new version of Earth that's coming does not run on trauma bonds. Our society has us traumatized. And it's time's up. That's why you see people opening their eyes. It also doesn't run on obligation. It doesn't run on, undying loyalty for no reason. It doesn't run on old bullshit contracts that are written in survival. So if the formulation and the ground within your relationship is starting to crack, or maybe it always has been there and you've just stuck it out, don't panic, but don't cling to it. And don't shame yourself for letting go of shit that does not serve you. This is the system. And it is the system releasing us. The matrix is releasing us. Earth is helping us with that. But it's releasing what was never meant to survive in this new arc of time. Your true match, they're not lost, They were probably just on the wrong frequency, or maybe you were. And they're finally rising to meet you. And let all of it fall. Let it all burn to the ground. Because 2026 is the year that you return to yourself, but we also expose all relationship systems, all systems, and let the false fall away.
I agree with you on this one, girl. Let me say this. MAGA women, nobody's coming for your husband. Nobody's coming for your husband. In fact, divorce attorneys right now, their phones are ringing off the hook. Did you know that? For women to divorce MAGA husbands. Guess who's not high on the list for getting a divorce? Liberal men and their women. And I know a lot of liberal men that carry and throw acts for sport. But you guys like to pretend like they're these like weak little beta men, when in reality, you're the weak men. You think you're this big alpha because you listen to these extreme right-wing bro podcasts and you get your information from Fox News and you live in this bubble where you think you're such a badass because you fly around with 14 flags hanging off the back of your lifted truck, yelling yee yee out the window. No, nobody's coming after these men. Literally nobody. Have a good day.
Hey, so you know how white women are finally getting really fucking fed up of their white husbands telling them that they're overreacting to what's happening in America, and the divorce rate is spiking and is going to continue to spike because they're like, I mean, I bought into the patriarchy enough to believe that you were going to actually protect me. And now that there's actual danger at my doorstep, you're telling me I'm being an emotional woman. So yeah, that's a real thing that's happening. Look it up. Women are filing for divorce a lot right now, and I'm here for it. But there's also a parallel happening in corporate America, okay? White women are just the last ones to wake up. We're slow to the uptake, okay? Black women realized this a long time ago. They've been leaving corporate America in higher numbers and starting their own businesses because they realized how toxic it was. And a lot of these Black women and Black executives who I worked with worked in roles where they really thought they could make a difference. They were in like people development or DEI, right? Or leadership. And they realized that like, oh, it was all just PR. It was all part of the same fake machine. And like, I don't align with that. And they're just gaslighting me. So a lot of Black women left corporate America, started their own businesses, are out doing their own side hustles. And white women are finally fucking waking up too. That like, yo, the patriarchy is not going to protect us. We're just the last ones it stomps. The last ones it stomps. And now corporate America is stomping us. Okay? And we're like, oh shit. Oh shit. So I think we're going to see not even a higher number of like divorces from white women, but I think we're going to see a much higher number of white women saying this to corporate America and to those systems. And it's just, I mean, it's about time. We're very, very slow.
You know, it's nice that the divorce rate is growing, especially in Minnesota, due to what's going on right now with these raids and stuff like that. That, you know, women are waking up to the fact that their husbands are full of fucking shit. And that's great because, you know, they are approving the things that are going on, or they're trying to make it seem like it's seemingly not that bad. And my one question would be, what took y'all so long? Were you just trying to be that good Christian wife that listens to her husband and obeys her husband without having any critical thought behind like the humanity of people? Because I'm sure you and said husband have had conversations about your hateful rhetoric before. Surely when stuff started to hit the fan, this was not the first time that you've known about your husband's hateful ass rhetoric towards people. And I would even go as far to say, at some point you agreed with him. You thought it was right. Oh, the immigrants in our country. Oh, we gotta make America great again. Oh, the Black people. Oh, we're so tired. Black exhaustion. Oh. You was agreeing. But it wasn't until it was in your backyard with your kids. Your kids are being tormented when they're leaving school. That's when you said, oh, my kids are in danger. Hey, husband, our kids are in danger. And they was like, and then he was like, oh, divorce. It took it for it to get to your backyard. For it to happen to you and the people that you love to realize how fucked up it was. I hope that this is a growing moment. I hope this is a moment of evolution. I hope this is a moment of expansion of your mind and your brain and your frontal lobe and your critical thinking skills. I really hope it is. I really hope it is. I hope this is a moment in time where it can heal your heart, because you was walking around in a marriage or with somebody for so long that carried such hateful rhetoric in their heart, and you was swapping souls with them for so fucking long until it was in your backyard. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed. Oh, it's happening to us. Now we're on board. Now we get it. By the time this shit is way too far gone, now we're on board. It's bullshit. Sorry. Like I said, glad that you took the first couple steps to get that divorce and realize that, you know, this is not helping the heart of humanity in no way, but just tarnishing it. I'm glad that you woke up to that fact. And you know, better late than never, but never late is better.
I've seen that women are divorcing their MAGA husbands. Love that for you, by the way, Queen, yes. But I actually am fortunate enough to have a husband that is taking me. I've been crashing out, like sometimes for 13 hours straight. Like, and finally I said, we got to get our passports. We got to do something, da-da-da. And contacted his 401k, got our passports, and started planning for, you know, how we're going to be on the right side of history. While ensuring safety in case we get bombed. Because that's a potential. But what's funny is, my husband, he always says he's like a 2 on the Kinsey scale, right? He's a little bit queer, right? And these MAGA motherfucking men be talking about how he's not man enough, but somehow, my husband is more man than you.
This has been happening a lot lately. I don't know if anybody knows the answer. But when MAGA members get divorced, are they still cousins?
The president's starting to look like a very desperate man as his party's getting ready to just abandon him. The ship is sinking and he damn well knows it. President knows that his reign is coming to an end, that he's not only lost the pulse of his base, he's lost the passion that a lot of his supporters always showed him. This man is doing things because people thought that they wanted to see other individuals hurt. They thought that it was going to affect others and not them. People were feeling like somebody's getting something that they're not, just like President Donald Trump always. You gotta remember, he has a big habit of accusing others of what he's doing, and it's backfiring on him big time. The Republicans know that if they don't do something with this lame duck president, they will be losing all of their authority and power in Congress and the White House. What's your thoughts on that one? Bye.
If it's true that white women are leaving their husbands because of their underreactions, this is it, guys. This is the end of MAGA. Checkmate.
I actually don't have a single friend who is like thrilled with how their husband is reacting to all this. Most of them are describing their husbands as ostriching, sticking their heads in the sand and pretending like nothing is happening. Meanwhile, my friends, their wives, are trying to figure out, how are we going to continue normal life for our children through this? How are we going to prepare and protect ourselves? And their husbands are like, stop being so emotional. You're overreacting. I mean, do we see what's happening? Hello. It's time to wake up. Protect your family. Like, my friends are losing complete faith in their partners at this point. The divorces that are going to happen after all this, it's going to be an unprecedented number because you all are failing your families.
To think that those women are actually communicating with this woman, because I think I did a separate reaction video to her kind of emphasizing and going in a lot deeper on this. But then somebody sent me this morning along with a couple of other videos, and then I started going down the rabbit hole to better understand exactly what's going on. But to think that they think that this woman is their friend while at the same time telling them all of her business, right? And then she coming on the internet and talking about this. And if I was a person that was actually married to a woman that was a friend of this woman, I would absolutely be, just disgusted. I would be disgusted. I would be so disgusted to where I would be like, hey, listen, first of all, why are you telling our personal business? The second thing is, why are you
This man is extremely red pill and does not like women, and he's known to gaslight and deflect and not address the topic or the subject matter at hand. This is how I know that they're really scared of other men. They don't want to listen to women because they're scared to just come out and say, we are scared of other men, so we're going to deflect and we're going to talk about other things that aren't as important right now, and we're going to ignore you because we're scared.
And talking negatively about what it is that I got going on in my household. And third, you need to divest yourself from this person because she's not your friend. She's not your friend. I'm not sure if this woman even has a man, but she's sitting here basically advocating, and yes, it is advocating for people to get divorced and for white women to leave their husbands, in which I think that, and you know this, I think that liberal white women are the worst things that's happening in America, and that's happened to America right now. That's a whole nother conversation. But if she is sitting here advocating for the divorce based off of the idea that they feel some type of way about ICE agents deporting illegal migrants and protesters, I like to call them anarchists, are opposing burning up vehicles and destroying communities, that's insane. I don't know where we went wrong. I don't know why these women are so rebellious. I don't even know why they go against their husbands. And I'm going to emphasize a point that I said the other day, that protection, and this is just for informational purposes because, you know, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Protection is proactive. Protection is proactive. We seen the Renee Good woman and the other woman that she was married to allegedly say, drive, baby.
And let's not forget, although black women have a lot to say about what white women are doing by divorcing their husbands, these are the men that black women are procreating with and marrying. Don't forget that, black women. While y'all are gloating and being all sarcastic about what's going on, these are the men that you're procreating with and marrying.
I think I need to do a video series helping out some MAGA men as they're approaching this time where they're going to start finding themselves getting divorced more and more frequently. So I think those guys are going to be able to use some tips, some home hacks about how to manage your own household, how to keep the groceries stocked, how to keep your cold medicine stocked, how to prepare a meal and time the different meal items like the side dishes and all that stuff so that it's all done at the same time, how to do the dishes, how to vacuum the floor, all the things that you never had to do before, but you're going to find a need to get done now because you're not going to have anybody else around that's willing to do those things. Unless you got kids, I guess, but chances are you may not be in contact with them either. I mean, how many of you guys have ever cleaned a toilet or a shower or even a bathroom sink? Yeah, that's what I thought. You're going to need some how-to videos. You're going to need some help on doing those things. And I'm perfectly willing to offer that.
All right, so some women are leaving their husbands because they're underreacting to the current political and social economical environment that's going on right now in the world. Some of them are saying that their men are literally just putting their heads in the ground and trying to ignore the current situation. And here goes the thing. Those aren't men. They did not marry men. They married little boys. Because a real man protects his family, his friends, and all those that are closest to him. He has a plan upon a plan upon a plan in order to make sure that their lives are stable so that they don't feel the pressures of the world around them. The only response that your man should give to you, if you are concerned about what's going on, is that I'm working on some things. Don't worry about it, babe. He might even give you details as to what he's doing in order to ensure that you are safe. That is how a real man reacts to what's going on right now. And if you do not have one in your life, you need to either get one or figure it out yourself. Because unfortunately, there are more boys out there than there are.
Yeah, y'all, that's all I have. But I want y'all to get down in the comments and let me know, do y'all think that the government and white men will back off of white women now that they're divorcing them and not wanting to have babies with them? Do y'all think that they will take it easier on white women, or do you think that they will continue to come for women who are white and lesbian, or women who are white and with black men, or women who are white and not conservative, liberal white women? Do y'all think that they will just continue to come for white women who don't agree with them and are fighting against them? Or do you think they will stop? Because their biggest thing is they want marriages and birth rates, and those two things are dropping drastically because of what the administration is doing, not only to them but to everybody. And these are conditions where women know naturally you should not be birthing kids into this environment. If you love your kids, you don't want to birth them into an environment where men are walking around killing their mothers or snatching up 5-year-olds when they come home, or, you know, knocking on front doors with guns in the whole family's faces. Women know that we are in extreme danger, and therefore they don't want to keep birthing kids right now, which is natural. So get down in the comments, ladies. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like these videos and you want to see more coming. Please share, and let's help this channel grow this year. And I'll talk to you ladies later. Bye.